Hallo zusammen, my name is Deborah. I am from Lisbon. I'm talking from London to the Social Impact Lab in Leipzig. So I left Lisbon because of the lack of opportunities there, and I first actually moved to Leipzig, which is where I became a journalist. But then I came to London about 5 years ago to specialize in health communication, which is really my passion. I've been observing different cultures and different ways of doing things for the past 10 years, and I learned how my culture and your culture make us perceive social problems in a different way, and that includes health. I would like to do something that's good for the world, and I'm proud to say that in my last jobs I have done something along those lines. So, for example, I have been helping scientists to share the findings of their malaria research with ministries of health in endemic countries. I learned along the way that it's easy to complain and to blame others, but actually, if we listen and if we understand people's pressures and experience and even emotions, we learn to deal better with them as well. And this is true for health too. So I think it's time to do something, not just complain. Not complain that doctors fail, that Scandinavian people kill themselves because they are too rich, or that aging is a big problem. Instead, I think we need to acknowledge that doctors are human too, that um, suicide is a consequence of a serious mental health problem that urgently needs to be talked about, and that the elderly will be forever neglected if we keep letting them die of loneliness at home. I was particularly inspired by a project, a campaign here in the UK called Dementia Friends, which aims to tackle stigma around dementia. So they try to create dementia-friendly communities and businesses by training hundreds of volunteers that then run their own informative sessions in their communities. So if the UK can become a dementia-friendly country, I believe that Portugal can become a health-friendly country as well, whether we talk about a rare disease or schizophrenia or blindness, etc. And Portugal has very specific health problems and needs. It's one of the hardest hit countries by aging in Europe. It has a complex intersection between the private and public healthcare sectors. And the crisis, the financial crisis, has itself led to specific health problems like heart disease, obesity, and even hospital infections. I think an important starting point would be to bring citizens closer to the experts that are involved in health issues, whether they're doctors, governments, researchers, journalists. And in fact, I'm organizing and moderating a panel discussion between journalists and doctors because they recognize the need to collaborate better. So I believe we can sell health education services to private and public entities. We can create content for TV. We can create campaigns for ministries of health, workshops for universities, pharma companies, events for disease-focused charities, media training for doctors, while also scientific training for journalists. And I've done some of this on a small scale, but now I would like to do a more comprehensive package that can also be scaled up, because empowerment is at the core of this enterprise. Our trained trainers can go back to their communities, share the knowledge, use the resources that we produce, multimedia, and even help to recruit new clients or build new partnerships. Because in fact, partnerships are key in making sure that the content is accurate, while also allows us to give voice to all the stakeholders that are involved. And this voice will have its own format, its own style, because it's tailored, and it's then shared as a story that informs and makes society healthier. I do believe that a lot of health problems can be minimized just by talking about them. And this is valid for other social problems too. I personally felt better just by talking to people affected by the same health issues as me. And that's it. Thanks for the opportunity to share my idea, and I would love to hear your feedback. Vielen Dank. Auf Wiedersehen.